Okay, now that my water's pretty much set up, one thing I need to do, I'm going to take a clear gloss varnish, and notice I'm using the little sponge brush that I can throw away. This is the same stuff we use to glue down the paper with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to paint it over top of our water wheel here. You can pour Envirotex Light onto your water wheel. The problem is that it's too thick. It's supposed to look like 50 layers of varnish. Well, I don't want it to look like 50 layers of varnish. I just want it to look like a single layer of varnish because the wheel should look wet from spinning around in the water. Okay, everything is cured and dried, and at this point what we're going to do is go ahead and pull the pink foam off the side. What you want to do is you want to grab it and you want to pull the bottom up first because the bottom really isn't attached. You just kind of twist it upward and pop it off, okay? This actually will work. What I'm going to do is just grab it, pull it like this, kind of twist it, pop it off like that. So we're going to go ahead and do that to all three sides. Just this one will twist up and pop right off, and this one will twist up and pop right off, and then that'll be done like that. Now you see we've got kind of a sharp edge around here. This is where the epoxy, and it's also because of the capillary action of the Envirotex. To do this, I'm just going to take a hobby knife and I am going to just kind of cut away. It's actually not too bad. The stuff that we use, the Envirotex Light, isn't as brittle as you think. It's actually kind of like a hard plastic. So what you can do is take that, be sure that your hand back here is out of the way so you don't slip and jab your hand. So we're just going to take this and like this and just trim this down and get rid of these, get rid of this high edge. Now at this point the water is hardened and trimmed up. I think I'm going to go ahead and work on the ground cover out here. The reason is because that once we texture the water, it has a tendency to want to collect dust and dirt and other stuff that I'd rather keep clean for as long as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife here, and I think I'm just going to slope the front edge of this hill out a little bit. So what you can do is you can just sort of, take your knife here and cut away just a little bit of it. And you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be too much. I just want to kind of give it just a little bit more of a natural look here. Now the front edge of the water right now that's pink foam, I'm probably just going to paint that solid black. Just use black paint for that. But around the outside edges here where the water slopes in, and also for the top, we're going to paint a dirt color. So just kind of get a dirt color of latex paint and give it a good couple coats so you don't see any of the pink showing through. Now I'm not going to worry about getting too close to the house because we're going to put ground foam and other scenic materials down. I'm just want to cover up all the pink so that if I miss and there's a bare spot, or if I want a spot to be a dirt path, it'll already have the dirt color underneath of it. Well, what do you say we finish this up? I'm simply going to take a mixture of some tacky glue and some water. Just, or Elmer's regular glue will work. I'm just going to go ahead and paint it on here, and then I'm going to sprinkle on dirt, and then also sprinkle on some of the woodland scenic ground foam scenic materials. Sprinkling it on will help cover up that gap that we had between the blocks and the ground. Since I had to raise those blocks up to the top of the foam, we got to sort of cover that up somehow. A lot of times I take some of the stuff that's a little more bulkier, a little more bigger ground stuff to do some bushes and things like that, and then I'll take the smaller stuff and we'll sort of sprinkle it around kind of in different patches. I'll put a little bit of this on, and I'll take a little bit of a different color and kind of sprinkle it in the corner some here, and then I'll take a little bit of the dead grass color, sprinkle it in the corner like that, and then we'll end up dusting off the extra that we don't use. You can even take a little bit of extra dirt in places that you don't really have much. You can just take actual dirt and kind of sprinkle it on there as well. To do our texture for the water, now that the ground cover is on and glued in place, I'm going to use the acrylic gloss gel medium is what I kind of liked using. And I got this huge jar. It'll probably last me forever. But I found the trick to this is to put a really thin coat on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of this, put it on here. And what we want to do is, I found in the past that if you put on a thick coat, it dries with white spots under it because it can't really dry all the way down as far as you want to go. So what I'm going to do is just put it on, and I'm going to put on really a thin coat. I don't want to see much white at all. You know, you're going to see brush strokes, which is fine. We'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and cover the surface like this, and this takes a little while to dry, so you've got time. Now after I spread it on, I'm going to take kind of a stiff bristle brush, and I'm just going to go over the surface with it. So just kind of do a random pattern texture over the surface with it. Just to, you know, we're just kind of messing it up a little bit. And it doesn't have to be anything very specific, but just try to go random and try not to do an even pattern of any kind. And you don't really want to show a lot of white peaks because it will end up drying with spots, you know, white spots in between if you do. Okay, this is pretty much the finished base. We've got the water textured and everything, and it looks pretty good.